Hi YouTubers. I haven't been around for a while because I've been working on this moped. This is a Motobecane 1978 Model 7 it's called. And basically what this is, the Model 7, is the cheapest Motobecane moped that Motobecane made at the time. The price exactly I can't tell you, but what's significantly cheaper about it, if you look at it, it weighs only 88 pounds. It has no rear suspension. It has a hardtail, as you can see. Look at that. No shock or anything at all. Anyway, what would make me go out and buy a bike like this, the cheapest one? I'll tell you what. It was in the next town, so that's what made it easy for me. I was able to go to the next town. I probably paid too much for it. I think I paid $2.25 for it. But it didn't look like this when I got it. So let me go over what was done to it, and to help you if you find one of these, and go from there. Well, first of all, just to tell you a little bit about it, this model. It's not a variated model. It's a single speed engine. It uses an AV7 engine, or just at least a derivative of it. But it doesn't have support on the head. It uses the case for support, unlike a typical AV7 engine. So let's take a look and see what I added to this bike, and go from there. First of all, it has 16-inch by 2.0 tires. The only guy that had these were Treats, and that's where I got these tires. They're VEE rubber tires. Went on very nicely. They look very nice. They look just very much like the original pattern. They're very nice, as you could see. Okay, so that was one thing. The second thing is, years ago I had a bad experience with brakes. I had sent it to a shop before I could actually work on anything, and they got a ball bearing in my drum, so I actually flew over the handlebars on a 1976 Puch Black Classic. That's the one with the black rims. But anyway, that wasn't good. So, being the fact that this is 40 years old, I decided to take the front brakes out because I was afraid that the pads would come unglued from the shoes and maybe lock the brakes. So it has brand new brakes in there. It has typical bicycle type ball bearings that you could remove and clean and put back. So I did that. Surprisingly, unlike on my other Motobecane, the brake, the speedometer drive was not shot. So I just opened it up, lubricated it. It was missing a cable. I had an extra cable, a new cable, so I put that on. Working our way up to, while we're still talking about the speedometer, I went on eBay and bought two new speedometer bulbs. They are 2-watt bulbs, the same style that are actually in a Volkswagen Beetle, if you could believe it, in the speedometer. They have that weird base on them. I can't think of the number, but you could see that online. The 2-watt bulbs are Lucas bulbs I put in. And let's talk about the headlight. I got a new headlight bezel. I think I got that from DOS Cycles. I think I got it from them. It was very reasonable. The headlight was burnt out. It was a sealed beam. It was a Westinghouse. It was no longer available. So this is a getup, a 21-watt getup that uses an 1156 removable bulb that I got from my best helper, his name is Sean over at Myron's Mopeds. He helped me the most with advice and everything. I got to say, he's a real go-to guy. You definitely want to buy some stuff from him if you can. Very helpful guy, but he only works with email. He does not like to be called, so make sure you email him, and he'll definitely get back to you, especially in the wintertime. It's better than in the summertime. Working our way up, the bike didn't have, go up a little further here, the bike didn't have a decompression line on it, so I got one of those from, I think I might have got that one from 1977 Mopeds. And I attached that, and I also bought the missing the bolts that were missing from Myron, but and also these end piece caps that were this one was missing, so I took care of that as well. You can see it says on it decompression or what have you, so that works fine. I got some grips that are real nice from Myron's Mopeds, and I got this cover, the alternator cover. I got it's just really not really the cover. It's just a beauty cover that I got from, let me see, who did I get that from? I think I got that from Treats. Yeah, I got that from Treats. the engine, the reason why the engine stopped working and the person stopped riding the bike is because they put too much oil in the gas, and it clogged up the exhaust. So the exhaust had to be cleaned out. I cleaned the exhaust out, and then it started to run again. This is a 1.5 horsepower model. They made them in 1.5, and 2. I got the replacement side cover bolts with the white washers, plastic washers from Myron's mopeds. The side covers, DOS cycles came through on those for me because they were missing. And let me tell you something, it does not look nice without the side covers. See how streamlined and beautiful it looks? These were new old stock side covers, very rare. And I actually have another set, which I had bought just one side from Myron, and this guy had a second one, so I took that too. So I have an extra set. So if anybody's looking for a set of those, I may part with them for a fair price. Looking further to the back of the bike, let's see what else was done. Oh, another thing, you can't see it under here, but the carburetor is an AV1 carburetor. It's an oddball carburetor. It's not used on anything else. It had this horrible little brass float that rotted out. Somehow, some way, from 1977 mopeds, they sent me one, and it happened to work. Of course, that it wasn't supposed to work, but it worked, and I got it in there, and it's fine. It's a little bit difficult finding carburetor parts for this, or performance parts on the engine. Although they do say that you could find them, it's very tough to find the intake manifold for this. So unless you have a 2.0 model, you're gonna have a difficult time. It has a this bike only intake manifold. The one that you need for performance is 15 millimeter. I think this one's maybe 13. So I don't know, but I'm still having a little bit of issue with the bike. I have a new muffler for it. Myron's telling me that. Sean at Myron's Mopeds is telling me that I probably have a clogged exhaust port as well as the muffler was clogged. So I'm going to clean that out first. And I do have a new muffler that I got from DOS Cycles. And that should solve that problem. Going to the back, let's talk a little bit more. Let's see what else we have here. The seat that I had the main spring was broken, so the seat was like down like this. So Myron's Mopeds got me a new old stock seat, or it's slightly used, but it's very good condition. And from DOS Cycles, I got a little tool bag, which I really need this because there's nothing to hold anything on this bike, and you got to be able to put your registration and insurance somewhere. So I got that from them. There was on the other side over here. I don't know if you can see. Well, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but I'll try to get in there. This piece was missing right here, so I put a shaft collar on there, and it actually works pretty good. Just a shaft collar. I had to drill it out a little bit because it was standard, and that holds the big spinning wheel on, which is another reason why I wanted the side covers, because you got a spinning wheel that could suck your pants in. Myron provided me with a straight type fuel outlet, because it has to be straight to go straight down here. Going to the back. It had another problem in the back here. The freewheel, at first we thought it was just gobbed up with grease, but I didn't take a chance. I just ordered a new one. Myron got me a new, I believe it's called an Atom, A-T-O-M, the brand, the genuine one. So he got me a new one of those, and when I took the old one off, I attempted to clean it and grease it. Forget it. It was shot. Somebody busted it. I don't know how they busted it, but they did. Maybe somebody just slammed on it too hard and blew it out. But when I took the wheel off and I re-greased the bearings, I put a brand new one on. And I also bought I believe I got from, I think it was either DOS Cycles or 1977 Mopeds. I got this device that unscrews these. It's like a fork device that unscrews these off of the wheel, and it worked perfectly. It wasn't even that much, maybe $20 or something like that. It looked like they made it, actually. This one is unlike the normal Motobecane mopeds. It has regular, removable little ball bearings that you can clean, re-grease, and put back. I cleaned the two chains. They seem to be in good shape. They're not stretched as far as that goes. I did not change the back brake because it was in good shape, and also it's less likely to lock the back brake because you have the spinning mass that's going to make it a lot harder. Even if you slam the brake on, it's not going to lock. But bottom line is, especially when it's got weight on it. Another thing is, it had the wrong size tire on here. It was rubbing, so I got the V rubber tires. I'm very happy with them. They look very nice. And of course, when like I did on one of my other videos when I had this. One thing I did notice, the paint that I used when I painted the inside of the rims after I acid etched the inside where there was a little bit of rust, when I had the tire off, instead of using a zinc coating on this one, I used a regular silver Rust-Oleum paint, because I noticed that when I took the other bike down the shore and I had that zinc coating on the cover for the clutch, it kind of wore off. So I think that the regular paint would have been better for that. And I did the same trick that I did, you'll see in one of my other videos on how to paint a rim. But other than that, the back wheel went on real nice. It runs very good. Actually, this bike is kind of odd. I'm still missing the choke cable, which I'm going to be working on soon. This bike starts without the choke cable for some reason. The other bike doesn't. But basically, another thing, the gas tank was pretty clean on this one too, unlike the other bike, which was a real pain to deal with. But it rides pretty nice. Myron or Sean at Myron says they're very fun to ride, and I did find that out there. It's pretty zippy. The top speed is a little bit wanting, but I still have to deal with the exhaust system to make sure that that's 100%. And I think that's why it's not running so good that way. As you can see, the gas tank is mounted in the back, which is kind of odd. It looks like a package tray, but it's not dented or anything. Nobody sat on it, which is surprising, because you'd think that they would have crushed that thing in, by sitting on it. But that wasn't damaged. I added some little luggage straps there just because I had them. But overall, it's a neat bike. It's, like I said, it's smaller and lighter, 88 pounds. Only thing, like I said, I'm missing the covers. If anybody knows about the covers that go on, the black plastic covers that go on top of the side covers, anybody knows where I could get those, let me know. But it's not really going to be a valuable bike. It's just something that's kind of neat. You could actually throw it up on the truck without a ramp, probably only 88 pounds. And it's more like a bicycle than a moped, although the front suspension's all there, and it does seem pretty nice. But this bike was only, what I was told, 2 or 3% of the production of American bikes, and it was only brought into the United States in this color. In other lands, like I guess France, they were called the Ranger, and they had some other names, but they were made also in like a green, and they also a red or a burgundy. But when they continue to make them after the years that they were sold here, they added the rear suspension to them over in France. But this one is they made them for a few years. I don't think they brought them into the United States too many years, but this one is a 1978, and I was told that it was a 1 year only for the carburetor also, which is, like I said, it's an oddball carburetor with an oddball float. But somehow I lucked out and got the right one. Even over at Myron's Mopeds, Sean is astonished that I actually got a float for this thing, and it's not a copper or brass float. What I had, it's like a plastic float, but it fits perfect, and that part of it's running fine. It's not dripping or leaking, at all. So, like I said, I think I'm just going to put get a new choke cable for it, and I have just ordered a rear view mirror. Not a genuine one, because the genuine one that I have on the other bike was so old and it was pitted, it just wasn't even worth it. But I just got like a round one that I don't have to cut anything. I could just bolt it on, and if I ever find the original one, I could just unbolt it and stick that in its place. But overall, my idea with this bike was to keep it totally stock if possible. I don't like, to customize stuff. Don't get me wrong, if I could do a subtle performance upgrade that you're not going to see, like figure out a way to get a bigger intake manifold, or put a faster, a fast head on it, or something that doesn't look, crazy, like maybe a genuine Motobecane fast head, I would consider doing that to bring up the horsepower a little bit, because this baby won't make it up all the hills. If it's a really monster steep hill, it went up the hill and it stopped. But it could also be part of the fact that it's not performing properly. It only goes like 20 miles an hour now. So as soon as I solve that exhaust issue, it should be a lot better. Anyway, I just wanted to go over this brief explanation of the Motobecane Model 7. And just in case if somebody else has one out there, I believe there's one on eBay right now. I don't know how long it's going to last. But I think it probably will last a long time, because it doesn't run and it's missing parts. Not quite as bad as this one was, but It's missing.